Oh my goodness, we're joining us now with Ed Parkinson, who runs the ticket agency Viagogo. I was beside myself with fury yesterday, having had hope raised by people like Jane Kelly saying, yes, more tickets available. It is unbelievably infuriating, the website that you have to go on to. You get all the way to the final end, still thinking tickets available, and then no, they're not, even after you put in all your details. So look, why is it that companies like yours can organise big events like Madonna at the O2 or whatever, and yet this is still so difficult to get hold of tickets that everyone can see are available?
It is really frustrating that there are empty seats and that people can't get hold of those tickets. The truth is that there will always be a certain number of tickets that become available at the last minute, a certain number of seats that potentially could be empty because VIPs and corporates and people can't make it. So it's not surprising. We see this at Viagogo very frequently because we specialise in last minute availability for these high profile sports and entertainment events. But it can be planned for. It's to be expected and it can be planned for. And there are lots of things that can be done to make sure that these seats, even though they may become available at the last minute, are actually occupied.
On this scale, though, Ed, I mean, this is arguably the biggest event this country has ever hosted and may ever host for the foreseeable future, at least. I mean, I don't know the exact figures, but millions and millions of tickets have been on sale. Is it possible to create a system which is flawless?
I think, well, flawless perhaps would be a bit difficult, but certainly we can make efforts to get close to that. I mean, there've been concert tours and major events that have been organised which have run into the millions of tickets. Take That's reunion tour recently as a good example. So there has certainly been events that are close to this scale, and I think that there's also a very long planning period. There's been 7 years to plan for it.
We can't go back over the planning, can we? We're right here now. And Sebco says he wants the tickets, he wants those seats filled. Everyone seems to want those seats filled. People want to go to the event. So what would you do now to make the process work better?
Well, so where we are now, there's a few simple things that can be done. Taking people who have got tickets, perhaps sitting in the cheaper seats, have turned up, and move them forward to the better seats. That's a simple thing, and that's something we see happening at theatres up and down the country every week. Having a standby list makes a lot of sense, and that's been suggested that people could queue up, perhaps if they've got Olympic Park tickets, or they could come on the off chance with a possibility that if a seat wasn't filled in a certain time frame, they could get that seat. That would seem to make sense. It's a simple thing that could be done right now, we'd imagine. And then one other thing that's obviously very important, and the organisers have clearly started to do that, is to get those officials to commit to where they've got tickets. Are they going to be there? Are they not going to be there? And get them to commit as soon as possible so that the spare seats can be put back on sale to the public.
Do you welcome the move to put our armed forces personnel in those seats and maybe some school kids to make them full?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, certainly athletes and athletes' families and their friends, that seem to be great candidates to fill some of those empty seats. It's fantastic that armed forces, school children, school teachers, they're all, it's much better that they're there, creating the atmosphere, cheering on the athletes, making it a much better event than having those seats empty.
Absolutely. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
Thanks. So, you haven't got any good tickets for anything coming up on you at the moment, have you?
All the best concert tours and sports events, Lady Gaga, One Direction, they're all available.
You've got to buy them, though. You've got to buy them, Daddy. He's not giving
You don't get these opportunities that often,
He's not a
do you?
business. He's not a businessman, is he, for nothing? Thanks very much indeed. Are we going to get the weather now? Here's Lucy.